often spoken to you from inside for a little while, so hopefully it's not too dark, and hopefully I'm sitting in the right place. Right place, by which I mean, yes, I'm sure you can see me. Okay. Now, how to get motivated to meditate. Now, people ask this. I've spoken about it previously and really emphasized that the encouragement to meditate comes from the benefits of meditation and the enjoyment during meditation that is to be experienced when we are able to allow our bodies to settle and relax, our minds to settle and become calm, to become focused on one meditation object, say the simple process of breathing in and breathing out, for some time to develop what we call samadhi. And this has stages of calmness, serenity, peace, but also some physical pleasure, joy, and mental, emotional, uplifting qualities. And after meditation, a lasting feeling of a heightened sense of awareness, a clearer view of the world and all of our experiences for what they truly are. Not with rose-tinted glasses making everything okay, but we see more the reality of life, and importantly understand that it is just that. It doesn't have to be something we allow to affect our state of minds. But this is all well and good, me saying this. But more recent questions have been, well, you know, I get home from a busy day at work, school, university, or at home in the house, looking after the running of the family. I get an opportunity, and how do I motivate myself to sit there and go through this process? How do I motivate myself to even want to meditate when there are so many other delicious things I could be doing? There's beautiful snacks in the fridge, there's Netflix, there's a comfortable sofa. And your idea of fun, monk, is sitting on a hard floor, rather uncomfortably in this upright position, just doing nothing and waiting for fun to happen. I don't have the motivation. I don't see the fun in that. You know, these are all valid and very sensible, not sensible, these are all valid arguments to persuade yourself not to do it. So, let me try and give you some reasons why and how we can motivate ourselves to do it. Firstly, there is nothing to do. We do not do meditation. We don't really even, as we use the term so often, practice meditation, other than in the sense of we're practicing something to get better at it, as we would practice playing the recorder or the guitar. Now, it simply is a matter of sitting and allowing nothing to happen with your body and mind for a period of time to experience these benefits that I've just mentioned. But how to even bring yourself away from all those enticing sensual pleasures that are available to us, or even simply when you're exhausted, just chilling out and going to sleep in front of something you're not even watching on the television, can be so much more appealing than the effort involved in sitting and meditating. And this is it, it's effort. And effort requires some energy. Now, the energy will come in the future from your achievements in meditation, from the success you have of bringing yourself mental joy and happiness and physical pleasure and rapture. If you can hear the funny noises, it's the rats and the geckos in the roof. They're just above a little piece of plasterboard, only this thin. My fear is that one day they're going to come tumbling through with all that is up there. I think they're more playing than fighting. It sounds boisterous, maybe not from what you're hearing, but to me it's quite loud. And this goes on, believe me, all night. It gets louder and louder. And then sometimes the dogs want to join in and various other creatures appear from the forest. And this is an opportunity for me to think, well, no chance of sleeping tonight, samadhi. So that's my motivation. Because of course, for a monk, we don't have a refrigerator to go to. We can't go and help ourselves to anything like that. We have to be offered food, and we're not allowed to eat after midday anyway. We don't have entertainment, television, music, films, this kind of thing, computer games or whatever. And we are living in very simple quarters, simple accommodation, this little wooden hut in the forest. So there's sitting meditation and there's walking meditation. We can practice walking meditation also at night. I prefer sitting meditation generally. Walking meditation I reserve for occasions. It is an important part of everybody's meditation practice, but you will establish yourselves in a routine of meditation that is eventually what you know is comfortable and useful to you. So having established and worked out, right, okay, we're not having to do anything, at least you've taken the negative or off-putting quality of meditation as opposed to having a snack. Having a snack will involve you getting it out of the fridge, unwrapping it, making it, heating it up, eating it, then cleaning up afterwards. There's going to be some involvement, something to do. Even the simplest of instant snacky foods will involve some kind of action on your part, whereas meditation is just simply a process of plonking yourself down wherever you can to be relatively undisturbed by forest creatures or whatever, and go inside for a little bit of time. Now, you may enjoy swimming, you may enjoy riding a bicycle, you may enjoy reading a good book. There may be other hobbies you have. You may be a musical person, enjoy playing the guitar or the recorder. I don't know where that old-fashioned instrument idea came from, probably because it was something we had to learn at school. My muscle memory of my fingers is still playing those 3 notes with the little thumb thing on the back. Amazing how you can, at nearly 50 years later, remember that. And there's an example, something you don't forget. And it's such a struggle to hold your finger over those 3 little holes and the 2 little holes on the back where your thumb has to go, to make the, I think it's the note C, come out of the recorder resonating at exactly this right note, tone, quality, whatever the word is for a note, when it's pitch, it's perfect, ooh, like this. It takes a bit, but when you do, how gratifying is it? How nice is it? And then you want to do it again, and you want to find the next note. Ooh. Before you know it, you're playing 3 notes, and you're playing around with them. And occasionally, your thumb will move, or your fingers will move, and the note will go a bit off and not work. But you correct it, adjust it slightly, and you're back. Now, I don't play the guitar, but there's, a similar principle involved. And when we were learning to read, it took some time, of course, many years in school, before we could read enough to be reading for pleasure. Some of us began to read for pleasure a lot sooner than others. Others found it more a task, reading and reading until you could get the sentences and the structures and the paragraphs and everything all in place to actually have it flowing, and also silently in your mind, rather than John and Jane played with the ball and the dog. We learn basic reading from the ABC to the sonnets of Shakespeare, whatever floats your boat. Maybe nowadays you read a romantic novel or a crime mystery thriller, something like this, and you get immense enjoyment and relaxation from it. But you didn't when you first started to read. So at this moment in time, if you like reading or you like playing the guitar, this might be one of your choices of sensual distraction, pleasure, to absorb yourself into, rather than meditation. And why is that? Well, it's a bit like if you were given the choice and you could not read, you were learning to read, to have reading lessons or watch a movie on TV at the end of your busy day. You're probably going to watch the movie on TV than have another reading lesson, because you're not able yet to enjoy your reading. So this is where we're beginning with our meditation. We're learning to read, we're learning to play a musical instrument. It's also like learning to swim. You may enjoy swimming, but at first you probably didn't. You had to get in the water and learn to float, then take away your measures or whatever, your armbands or things to hold you up, and then almost start the learning process over again. And then one day you can swim. And before you know it, you're on holiday and you're swimming in the sea or in a swimming pool, in a lake, and you're enjoying it. It's a relaxing, enjoyable experience. But given that as an option, if you can't swim, it wouldn't be your choice. People go for miles and miles riding their bicycles and have immense pleasure and gratification. A long countryside, beachside or city place of riding your bicycle, the freedom. But of course, when you learned to ride this bike, there were many fallings off and much practice of hours and hours involved before you could even balance and take off the stabilizers. And even then, it wasn't just off you go. You had to get used to it. The driving conditions, how to be on the roads, the brakes, and the maintenance of the machine you're riding. Now again, faced with just all of that, the educational process, would you choose that? No. You just simply sit on the sofa and go to sleep, rather than going through all that trying to balance and learn to ride a bike again. You might early in the morning, when you're awake and enthusiastic, want to learn to play a musical instrument, want to learn to read, want to learn to swim, want to learn to ride a bike. but not if it's your limited time of free time, of time for relaxation. Do you want to be working? Because let's face it, it is work. And if we don't put in the work, that effort, using that energy, we don't succeed. And really, this is all meditation is also. It's not all doom and gloom though. The upside is you just have to give it the time. The effort, the energy is just to pull yourself away from the other distractions and have confidence that soon something will click and the meditation will flow like playing the instrument, swimming, riding a bike, or reading a book, and bring you as much pleasure and enjoyment as those things. What it will bring you when you meditate, when you can develop samadhi, is in the initial stages the same quality of physical pleasure, rapture, and mental joy and happiness that you get when you listen to your favourite piece of music, some music you really like, or new music that inspires you. When you read a really wonderful ending to a book, or an exciting novel that keeps you gripped, turning the pages. When you watch a movie and it's all a feel-good ending, as they say. Or when you eat that very nice cream bun, your favourite flavoured cake or savoury snack. All of those are there within this body and mind, those same emotions and feelings which actually are aroused within this body and mind with those external sources of sensual stimulation. They're already inherently embedded within you. You don't need to be putting things in your mouth. You don't need to be looking, listening, smelling and touching. It's already there when you know how to trigger it, how to just set it off. But it's there in such abundance and such quality, depth, and so it is so overwhelming that when you do experience it, it's called piti and sukha in the Pali language, which means rapture and joy. And when, or physical pleasure, mental happiness, emotions of happiness, when you experience that, this is only the early stages really of absorption, samadhi, of deep meditation. Leading up to that, however, even, there is a very, and this is often only as far as people ever get, and that is the realization of sitting and watching a meditation object brings about a process of settling and your mind becoming calm. And very often this is just what people are looking for their busy, busy minds to become calm. But that is by far the end goal. So let this be, this knowing that this is what will happen with a little bit of effort, let this be your encouragement. And the motivation is that if you hadn't ever learnt to read, put in that little bit of effort, you wouldn't read a book, or swim, or ride a bicycle, or play a musical instrument, or whatever your interests and hobbies are today. They had to be perfected in the methods by which you go about achieving the results you achieve in those. With meditation, you just have to take some simple instructions, and you don't have to spend too much time doing it. Start off, if you can, with just 15 minutes in the morning, early, before you do anything else, and maybe 15 minutes at the end of the day. Really, less than that is probably going to take you quite some time before you ever really feel the effect of even feeling calm about it. So if you don't want to drag the learning process on, if you're enthusiastic about learning to play the guitar, for instance, you'd practice as often as you possibly could. And this is the same. You will get rewards, because although you won't notice the difference in your life immediately, over some time the difference can be measured. You just look back, even a few days it can be noticed, but if you look back a few weeks, you'll certainly see a noticeable difference in your reactions, your way you are in life, the way you feel about things, and your overall sense of well-being will be so vastly improved in a few weeks' time if you're regularly meditating each day, even just 15 minutes at the beginning and the end of the day. And over a few months, by which time you'll be experiencing so much more benefits from your meditation, then the difference will be noticeable not only to yourself, but all of the people you meet and come across. In fact, all beings know a meditator. These animals all around me wouldn't be, I don't know what you can see in here at the moment, there are plenty of creatures lurking, wouldn't be so close and fearless around me if they didn't know that my life is sila, moral virtue, samadhi, meditation, and developing wholesome mind states. They sense that as living beings. They don't fear me, and I don't fear them. They're not going to bite me or poison me, even though some of them are very poisonous, because there's no need. This is usually done in self-defense. Now, rather than thinking of meditation as that poisonous snake and being wary of it, think of meditation as that friendly, furry, fluffy animal that loves you very much, and start to love it very much, because it will be loyal to you for the whole of your life. You'll never run out of meditation. It'll never become too expensive. It never needs upgrading. It never needs repairing. However sick you are, as long as you can breathe, if you've spent a good part of your life practicing meditation whilst you're relatively able and well, then even if you get really sick, you can develop you can go into samadhi and develop calm states of mind, which help you in so many aspects, even when we come to die. Being able to relax the body by just allowing it to settle, and relax the mind, or calm the mind, but just allowing that to settle through the practice of meditation, means that even in your final moments, the fear will be less, the pain will be less, the overall understanding of it will be greater, because you'll develop this wisdom within your meditation as it progresses. But to just give yourself the push, you can just say, before I settle down to the movie, before I settle on the sofa, I will just give myself 15 minutes of sitting on the floor and meditating. It isn't long. It really isn't long at all. You can easily find that in any day. You'll find that in any day to do all sorts of other things that you're not supposed to be doing. For instance, we all can find 15 minutes to have a chat with a friend at work at the water fountain, or to go off and quickly nip to the shops to get something we forgot to buy for tonight's dinner party and come back again before anybody noticed we've gone. There's always time. You can be sitting at your desk, just your eyes slightly closed so it doesn't look like you're asleep. But if you're upright, no one will think you're asleep. If you've got a computer screen, all the better. You could be looking at that, but just turn it off. Look at the blank screen and watch the breath. Not if someone's behind you, not if the boss is standing there or on a workstation behind you. Now you might say, well, that's stealing work time, that's cheating, that's this and that's that. A monk shouldn't be saying, no. You are making yourself a better worker. If you take 10 or 15 minutes of your employer's time, you can take a shorter lunch break, yes? You will perform so much better afterwards. And you can make it a regular habit. There's always time. If you've got time to breathe, there's time to meditate. You can always be watching the breath. I just breathed in and I breathed out through my nose. That sounds boring to the uninitiated. To me, it could have been 20 minutes, it could have been 2 hours of blissful meditation, right in the middle of sitting here talking to you. Because when I breathe in, and when I breathe out, I know the whole breath and its qualities. I know the whole breath and what it is doing. Cooling, calming, oxygenating, revitalizing, giving me life. It is our life force. It is better than any cooling drink on a hot summer's day. It is better than any other thing you may go to for distraction or just pure sensual pleasure, because it is so simple, it is so pure, and it is always with you. If you have some difficulties breathing, even so, you can find a little bit of pleasure in the breath you can take. We may have a cold, a blocked nose, a headache, only breathing out of one nostril, and think, well, I don't want to draw my attention to all of that bunged upness and discomfort. But if you bring your attention to the breath you are drawing and the cooling and pleasurable nature of it, all of the other stuff melts away. And you seem to get a lot more benefit from the breath you can take. But the actual motivation to just do it, to get on the floor and do nothing for 10-15 minutes, has to come from you. If you don't believe there is a benefit in meditation, then you have to ask yourself, if you're watching this on YouTube and you put in meditation, I should think there's probably millions and millions and millions and millions of channels and videos on meditation of all kinds and varieties. Everybody knows what meditation is, but so few people do it. Why are there always videos? Why does everybody know about this thing, yet so few people actually do it? And of the people that do it, only a small percentage of those are practicing it the way I understand it from my experience, in terms of the Buddha's teachings on meditation, so Buddhist meditation. And specifically in this Theravada, Thai Forest tradition, we have certain practices which are perhaps unique to us, but have been working for hundreds, thousands of years It's not a new fashion, it's not a new fad, it's not a new thing. It goes far beyond and before Buddhism even. Meditation is in recorded history thousands of years prior to even the Buddha, in different forms. So it doesn't take much to have confidence in that it is something that can be done by all and does work. So just give it a try. And it requires no intellectual understanding, it requires no physical ability, it requires no extraordinarily good learning skills. There's nothing to do other than sitting for a little while and doing nothing. And I'll remind you also, like I've said before you meditate in the evening, reflect upon your day and ask yourself a couple of things. Did you keep the precepts today? 5 precepts. This is a Buddhist thing if you're just watching this because of meditation. But we have 5 rules in Buddhism: not to kill, not to steal, refrain from sexual misconduct, not to lie, and not to take any intoxicants. Just those 5, no more. And that's what we call sila. This is moral virtue. This will enable you to sit and meditate with an absolutely clear conscience. Nothing to worry about anything you've done today or the ramifications of that in the future. Because if you've kept those 5 precepts, you've done nothing wrong through body, speech and mind to cause you any problems either now or in the future as a result of what you've done in the past. And that's kind of what we call karma, which just means actions, by the way. Actions of body, speech and mind. If they're in accordance with those 5 moral virtues, you can't go wrong. But if you have transgressed on any of them, that's all right. It's not all right. It's okay. Don't punish yourself. You've done it now. It's over. Just make a new determination to try and keep the precepts in the future. And this is what we can look at in our reflection of an evening prior to that little meditation. And this just takes a few minutes just to quickly say, yeah, did I keep sila today? Did I keep the precepts? Yes, no, oh well, I'll try tomorrow. And then also, was I practicing meditation throughout the day? And I don't mean sitting like this anywhere. If you can, yes, great. But I'm talking about mindfulness. Just being aware when you're walking from A to B of your footsteps, rather than thinking about where you've come from or where you're going. Just think about where you are now. You're usually walking to somewhere that doesn't require any attention. Back from your desk to the toilet to the water fountain, from downstairs in the kitchen up to the children's bedroom, into the garden shed from the garage or down to the paper shop. Usual trips. Rather than thinking of a myriad of things, just think about stepping right, stepping left, stepping right. Now this isn't officially walking meditation, but it is bringing your mind towards just one thing. And it is training your mind to focus on one thing. And it is from the ability to be able to stay with our attention on one thing, for instance the breath as your meditation object, that we derive all of this joy and piti and sukha, joy and rapture through meditation. Which, remember, is just the early stages. It goes far beyond that. And once you achieve the slightest results in meditation, you'll want to do it again, like playing your recorder. You'll want to play more notes. You'll want to progress. And it will be your go-to thing when you don't require meditation. Something will click. There will be a shift. For some time, and everybody is different. It may be just hours, days, or it may be weeks, months, it could be even years of regular practice before there is this shift. But once you have this shift, there's no going back. Meditation will be your thing. Otherwise, there would not be so many meditators in the world as there are. That people don't have success in meditation and then stop meditating. People who stop meditating have never meditated. They may have spent years trying, but once you've experienced it and had this shift, it's momentous, it's final. You will always want to meditate. And this is one desire, one thing it is okay to want to do, or want to not do, because it requires just doing nothing. So keep reminding yourself of this, that I will succeed at this soon. Just as I succeeded in learning to read, learning to swim, learning to ride a bicycle. All of these things we've had to spend a little bit of time, effort and energy on before they became enjoyable. But once you find the enjoyment, all of that effort and energy seems so worthwhile, and you don't even remember it. We don't think about or remember every day the hours we spent learning to read, or learning to ride a bike, or learning to swim, do we? We just get on and do those things and enjoy those things, and can't imagine not being able to do them. Well, meditation is the same. When you can meditate, you'll not be able to imagine not being able to meditate. And you'll certainly not be able to imagine not having the motivation to meditate. It will be there, inherent in its value of what it is, an enjoyable thing. So I shall leave it there. I hope that gives you some motivation and it's useful. And if it is, then please use it. If it's not, then don't. But I hope you can sit and reflect and then meditate this evening. 15 minutes if you can. Longer the better. The more you put into it each day, the sooner you'll be up and running, riding your bicycle, yeah? If you only put a little bit of time in, it's going to take more days. And we always have the time. There's always some time there. Okay, thank you for watching.